captivating. Walk on by.
Very similar. We both have the same musical appreciation. We both love symphonic music. We love strings. We love things going on mystically, musical-wise.
Isaac Hayes was once one of the most loved until he supposedly wasn't and became the person everyone hated.
He and I have always admired each other.
And allegedly, Barry White was at the forefront of the hate train. Now, the reason behind this supposed hate was crazy. It was rumored that Isaac Hayes had an affair with his friend's wife during his career, and that friend was Barry White. This was so wild and believed by many that it caused a big stir and supposedly affected both of them in the industry.
Those are the gems that he taught me is, own your publishing, read your contracts, make sure that you got your business handled because it's a dirty game out here.
But this rumor is just one of the many dramas Isaac was involved in, from drug abuse to legal issues, bankruptcy, health problems, and more. There's a lot to unpack, so let's dive in. Isaac Hayes was not just a regular singer. He was an icon. His songs became hits, and he was loved by fans around the world.
Walk on by.
However, like many famous people, Isaac's private life was often in the spotlight. He was married several times and had many girlfriends, and he didn't hide the fact that he loved the company of women. These things were often talked about in the press, and sometimes people would create stories about him. Some of these stories were true, but many of them were just rumors. The story about his affair with Barry White's wife was one of those rumors. Though there weren't many facts to prove it, it was something that caused a lot of talk within the music industry. Barry White and Isaac Hayes were both very successful during the same time in the 1970s.
Practice what you preach.
They were big stars in the soul, R&B, and disco music scenes, which were very popular at the time. They worked in similar circles and shared a lot of the same fans. It wasn't surprising that they knew each other. They were both well known for their deep, smooth voices and romantic songs. In the music world, they were almost like peers, and they likely had many connections in common. Isaac and Barry both worked with large orchestras and big-name musicians, often recording in places like Los Angeles and New York. Their paths would have crossed many times, and they were familiar with the same producers and session musicians. It's not hard to imagine that they were in close contact with each other, either through friendship or work.
Only your love can satiate heaven, baby, so come on.
Barry White's personal life was also a topic of interest to many people. While Isaac Hayes had a more high-profile and sometimes messy love life, Barry White was known for having long-lasting relationships. Barry married twice in his life. His first wife was a woman named Glowden White, who later changed her name to Glowden James. She was also a member of a group called Love Unlimited, and she was very much a part of Barry White's personal and professional world. The couple's marriage was talked about in the media, and they were often seen together in public. Barry White and Glowden's relationship lasted many years and was one of the most stable parts of Barry's life. Even though there were many stories about Barry's career, his marriage seemed to be a constant, and they were often seen as a loving couple. Isaac Hayes, on the other hand, was not as quiet about his relationships. He was known for being charming and flirtatious with women, and many people said that he didn't mind getting into relationships that were outside of marriage. With his personality and fame, he seemed to always be surrounded by women who admired him. So, the idea of him having an affair, even with the wife of a fellow artist, wasn't too surprising. It was part of the rumors that swirled around Isaac's life. If we think about the situation, it's possible that the affair rumor could have involved Glowden White, Barry's wife. She was close to both Isaac and Barry through their shared music industry connections.
Captivating.
Glodian would have been in social circles where Isaac Hayes was often present, and it's not impossible that the rumor was about them. The 1970s was a time full of rumors about famous people. Celebrities were often talked about for their personal lives just as much as for their music. Isaac Hayes and Barry White, being big stars in the soul and R&B scenes, were no strangers to this type of gossip. Both of them had reputations for being women's men. They were famous for their smooth voices and romantic songs, which made them attractive to many women. Because of this, rumors about their love lives were common. The idea of Isaac Hayes having an affair with Barry White's wife fit into the culture of the time, where tabloid stories and personal dramas about stars were popular topics. It wasn't unusual for rumors like this to spread, especially when both artists had such big, magnetic personalities.
We're both very similar. We both have the same musical appreciation. We both love symphonic music. We love strings. We love things going on.
However, the affair rumor wasn't something that was widely talked about or proven to be true. There were no concrete facts to show that Isaac Hayes and Glodian White were involved in anything more than a professional relationship. But the idea of it was enough to get people talking. The gossip around it lasted for a while, even if there wasn't much to it. Like many rumors about celebrities, this one likely grew as people continued to spread it. The media loved to talk about the personal lives of famous stars, and the drama surrounding Isaac Hayes, Barry White, and their relationships was something that added fuel to the fire.
Those are the gems that he taught me is, own your publishing, read your contracts, make sure that you got your business handled because it's a dirty game out here.
In the 1960s, Isaac Hayes was more than just a music man. He also became part of the civil rights movement. This was a time when many black people were fighting for equal rights in America. Hayes wanted to help. He joined marches and spoke out. But this caused problems for him in the music business. Many people in the industry did not support activism. They wanted artists to just sing and stay quiet. But Hayes felt strongly about justice. He wanted change, even if it hurt his music career.
My father was a songwriter before he was an artist, and one of the biggest records of his career is a song called Soul Man that he wrote with David Porter on Sam and Dave, and it was a civil rights anthem.
One of the saddest days in his life came on April 4th, 1968. Hayes had planned to meet Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Memphis that day, but he never got the chance. Dr. King was killed at the Lorraine Motel before they could meet.
I'm going to tell him, sir, I will follow you wherever you go. And I'm a kid, I'm a young man, but, whatever I can do to help you, I'm here.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
Hayes said this made him very angry and heartbroken. He said he used those strong feelings in his music. This pain helped him create songs that touched people deeply. His music started to grow during this time, and it became more powerful. In the 1970s, Hayes started to struggle with drugs. He used them to try to escape from stress and pain. But this made things worse. His drug use hurt his work. He could not focus like before, and his relationships with others began to suffer. He also started having money problems. These problems made it hard for him to stay on top of his career. The music world moved fast, and Hayes sometimes fell behind. Years later, in 2008, Hayes was on a radio show called The Adam Carolla Show. During the show, he had trouble answering questions. He sounded confused. Some people thought he was on drugs. One caller even asked if he had been using something. The hosts joked and replayed his strange answers. They asked if he had ever tried marijuana. Hayes said he had only tried it once, but it was clear something was not right. During that interview, Hayes also said he was not speaking with Parker and Stone, the creators of the show South Park, where he had worked before. In that same year, Hayes acted in a comedy movie called Soul Men. The film was about old musicians and was inspired by the famous Stax records. Hayes played himself in the movie, but sadly, he died before the movie came out. His co-star Bernie Mac also died before the film was released. The movie came out in November 2008, just months after Hayes passed away. Hayes had been dealing with health problems for some time. In 2006, reports said he had a stroke. At first, his team denied it. But later that year, Hayes said it was true. After the stroke, he was never the same. His health kept getting worse. He stopped appearing in public as often and slowed down with his work. On August 10, 2008, Hayes was found on the floor of his home, near a treadmill that was still running. His family had found him there. They called for help and he was taken to the hospital in Memphis. Doctors tried to help, but it was too late. Hayes was pronounced dead at 2:08 p.m. He was 65 years old. At first, no one knew why he had died. Later, doctors said it was another stroke that caused his death.
And I learned the music business from my father's perspective, which was he was an artist that was taken advantage of. So being mindful of the way that business does and contracts and understanding that,
Isaac had big money problems. These troubles followed him for many years. Isaac was part of a record label called Stax Records. This company helped him become a star. But behind the scenes, Stax was in deep debt. They owed a lot of money. Isaac also had problems with the label because they didn't pay him all the money he earned. In the mid-1970s, he got tired of waiting. So, he decided to sue Stax for $5.3 million. He wanted the money he was owed. This happened while Stax was falling apart. The label could not keep up with its bills. Soon after Isaac sued them, Stax went bankrupt. Even though Isaac had big hit songs, he had trouble managing his own money. He liked to live a rich lifestyle. He bought expensive things and spent too much. In 1978, he had to file for bankruptcy. That means he told the court he could not pay his bills. His spending habits and poor money planning made things worse for him. Even when he was on top of the music world, his money problems were serious.
Those are the gems that he taught me is, own your publishing, read your contracts, make sure that you got your business handled because it's a dirty game out here.
Stax Records tried many things to stay alive. They had a music festival called Wattstax in 1972. It was a big success. The album from the event sold 500,000 copies in just 1 week. The company also had other famous artists like the Staple Singers and Rufus Thomas. For a short time, things looked good for the label, but then things went bad again. Later that year, the IRS started looking into Stax's finances. The trouble started when a security guard working for them was caught with $130,000 in cash in a briefcase. The government wanted to know where that money came from. Around the same time, Stax lost a deal with CBS, a big music distributor. Without that deal, Stax couldn't sell their records properly. This was bad news for Isaac Hayes, too. If records didn't sell, he couldn't make money from them. The problems got worse. Stax couldn't pay its bills or artists anymore. Isaac had enough. In 1974, he sued Stax. He was also in debt to Union Planters Bank, the same bank that loaned money to Stax. Hayes wanted either his money or his freedom from the label. Stax couldn't pay him, so they let him go. This was a huge loss for Stax, as he was their biggest star. After Isaac left, Stax started to fall apart fast. Other artists, like comedian Richard Pryor, also left because they didn't get paid. In 1975, the company finally went bankrupt. Federal marshals came and took over the building and all of Stax's music tapes. The dream was over. After leaving Stax, Isaac tried to turn things around. He started his own music company called Hot Buttered Soul. His 1975 album, Chocolate Chip, was a hit.
I want to see that loving feeling in your eyes.
It reached the top 20 and even went gold. This gave him some hope, but his money troubles didn't stop there. At one point, Isaac even bought a basketball team. This team was in the American Basketball Association and was called the Memphis Tams. It wasn't a good team. They lost many games and the old owner didn't want it anymore. Isaac teamed up with other people, including another singer from Stax, to buy the team. They renamed it the Memphis Sounds. They hoped the team would bring money and fun to the city. A man named Mike Storin, who used to run the ABA, joined them too. But the team had a lot of injuries and lost many games. After the season, the ABA gave them a deadline to fix things. They had to sell 4,000 season tickets, find new investors, and get a better deal with their stadium. They failed at all three, so the league took the team away and moved it to Baltimore. Memphis didn't get another basketball team until 2001. By 1976, Isaac's money problems were worse than ever. His wife at the time, Mignon Harley, filed for divorce, though she later changed her mind and stayed with him. His second wife, Emily Ruth Watson, was still getting child support and alimony. On top of that, he still owed millions to Union Planters Bank. Isaac worked very hard. From 1973 to 1976, he made 2 albums each year. He hoped the new music would help him pay his bills, but the new albums did not sell as well as his older ones. People still loved Shaft and Hot Buttered Soul. But his newer work didn't bring in the same money. Finally, in 1976, Isaac had no choice. He filed for bankruptcy. He lost his house, many of his personal things, and even the rights to his own music. That means he couldn't earn money from the songs he had written or sung before. All the hard work he had done was now owned by someone else. South Park exit. Isaac became even more popular when he joined the animated TV show South Park. He started on the show in 1997, just before his 55th birthday. He gave the voice to a character named Chef. Chef was a school cook who liked to sing songs, many of them funny and suggestive. Hayes used both his acting and singing talents for this role. People loved Chef, and Hayes became a big part of the show.
I mean, obviously Isaac's voice is one of a kind, but we basically, we wanted Isaac or Barry White or Lou Rawls, or we wanted that 70s, like, soul brother kind of guy.
One of Chef's songs from the show, Chocolate Salty Balls, became a big hit. It was played on the radio in many countries in 1999. The song even reached #1 on the music charts in the United Kingdom and Ireland. It was also part of the album Chef Aid, the South Park album, which came out in 1998. This showed how much people liked Chef and how much they liked Isaac Hayes in that role.
There's a time and a place for everything, and it's called college. Do you understand?
But things changed in 2005. South Park aired an episode called Trapped in the Closet. This episode made fun of the religion called Scientology. Hayes did not do his voice work for that episode. In an interview, he said he did not like how the show treated Scientology, but he also said he understood why the show's creators, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, made fun of different religions. He did not seem too angry at that time. On March 13, 2006, a statement came out saying Hayes wanted to leave the show. The statement said he was not happy with how South Park made fun of people's religious beliefs. It said making jokes about religion could sometimes turn into hate and intolerance. The statement did not mention Scientology by name. Still, many people thought this was the reason Hayes quit. Matt Stone, one of the show's creators, answered the statement. He said Hayes had no problem before when the show made fun of other religions like Christianity or Islam.
Not all Muslim people are terrorists.
No, but most of them are.
and all it takes is most.
He said Hayes had taken money from the show for years while it joked about many faiths. But now, when it joked about Scientology, Hayes had a problem. Then, something strange happened. A reporter from Fox News, Roger Friedman, said that Hayes may not have written that statement himself. He said some friends of Hayes in Memphis were confused. They said Hayes never talked about quitting. This made people wonder if someone else had made the decision for him. Later in 2016, Hayes' son, Isaac Hayes III, gave more information. He said his father had a stroke before all this happened. After the stroke, he could not make decisions like before. His son believed that the people around Hayes, who were strong followers of Scientology, made the choice for him. Hayes' son said his father did not quit South Park on his own. After leaving South Park, Hayes lost a lot of money. His income dropped. He said he would start touring and performing again. But in 2007, at a concert in New York, a reporter noticed something was wrong. Hayes sat at a keyboard but did not really play. He sang slowly and his words were not clear. It was clear that he was not the same Isaac Hayes from before.
We did a show last season about Scientology.
And Isaac Hayes is a Scientologist.
And we knew we're like, boy, you know, Isaac might quit over this, and sure enough, he did, you know, and so.
Isaac Hayes got involved with Scientology in 1993. He took his first course that year. After that, he supported many Scientology books by writing short reviews for them. He also appeared in a Scientology film called Orientation. His support for Scientology made many people unhappy, especially after he left the TV show South Park. In 1996, Hayes started his own radio show in New York City called The Isaac Hayes and Friends Radio Show. During this time, he also became a client of a vegan chef named Elijah Joy, who owned a company called Organic Soul Incorporated. Hayes liked the healthy lifestyle, which matched some of the ideas in Scientology. In 1998, Hayes went to a special event for Freedom Magazine, which is a magazine run by Scientology. Other famous Scientologists were also there, like Ann Archer and Chick Corea. The event was held in Washington, D.C., and it honored 11 people for their work in human rights. In 2001, Hayes worked with rapper Doug E. Fresh to make an album based on ideas from Scientology. It was called The Joy of Creating. That album was a way to share Scientology beliefs through music. In 2006, Hayes also appeared in a music video for a group called Youth for Human Rights International, which was connected to Scientology. He also worked with other groups that helped people, like the One Campaign. For all his good work, he was named a chief in Ghana. He helped bring attention to problems and tried to help others in need. Isaac Hayes was married 4 times in his life. Each woman he married was special and beautiful in her own way. His first marriage happened in 1960. He married a woman named Dancy Hayes. They had 2 daughters together, Felicia and Veronica. But things did not work out between them, and they got divorced later on. Isaac got married again on November 24, 1965. This time, he married Emily Ruth Watson. They stayed together for several years, but also ended up getting divorced in 1972. Isaac and Emily had 3 children. Their names were Vincent Eric Hayes, Melanie Mia Hayes, and Nicole A. Hayes. After the divorce, Emily got custody of their children. Later, she even took Isaac to court because he was not paying child support and alimony on time. Isaac did not stop believing in love. On April 18, 1973, he married again. His 3rd wife was Mignon Harley. She worked at a bank as a teller. Isaac and Mignon had known each other for 6 years before they got married. At first, their marriage was full of love and peace. Mignon understood that Isaac had a busy life, so she did not expect him to be home all the time. She trusted him and was not jealous or suspicious. In 1982, Isaac and Mignon separated. 2 years later, Mignon filed for divorce. She said their marriage was broken and could not be fixed. She asked for custody of their 2 kids, Heather and Isaac III. She also wanted money to support the kids and herself, as well as a share of Isaac's property. Years later, in 2005, Isaac married for the 4th time. His new wife was Ajoa Hayes. On April 10, 2006, she gave birth to their son, Nana Kwadjo. Isaac was 63 years old at the time. He and Ajoa stayed married until he passed away in 2008. In 2016, Isaac's children took a photo with his Oscar award from the movie Shaft. The award had been kept at their grandmother's house for years. After she died, they moved it to Isaac's restaurant in Memphis. In 2011, the family decided to place it at the Stax Museum of American Soul Music. His daughter Heather said the Oscar changed her father's life. His son, Isaac III, said the award showed how great his father's music really was.